Hi everyone in English 1301, it's Dr. E and I'm here with your week 2 instructional video. I hope everybody is doing all right. Those of you who live in the area of the winter storm, hopefully things are going all right. Please know that there's an announcement here with the link to resources should you need those. We're all just doing the best we can, right? So hopefully everybody's staying safe and warm. So I'm going to jump to the content area so we can dive into what we're doing for our second week in the course. So for this week, we have some reading. It is the article by Irvin. It's entitled, What is Academic Writing? And it's posted in the content area of D2L. So remember that we have our book and additional readings here. And if you scroll down, you'll see Irvin's article right here. I really like starting off semesters with this reading because I think Irvin puts a lot of kind of complex ideas about this notion of what academic writing is. He breaks it down very well, and he's also addressing all kinds of myths. I mean, really, uh, you know, really important ideas related to writing that oftentimes we are taught, uh, through elementary, middle, high school, even college when it comes to writing. But he's saying, no, these are actually myths. We need to move away from thinking this way about writing. So, again, I think it's a good way to start our semester because we need to start removing those myths from our minds, right? And kind of open our minds a bit more to what academic writing is and can entail. All right, so you're watching the weekly instructional video. I do want to note that every week I've set for myself kind of a due date and time of Monday at noon for all instructional materials. So if you wake up early on Monday, you get really jazzed and excited about English 1301, and you log in and you're like, oh, nothing's posted. Don't freak out. Monday at noon is kind of the be all end all deadline for me. More often than not, I'm going to post stuff early. I work a lot on Saturdays and Sundays to get things ready for Monday. But if you happen to not see anything, again, the deadline is Monday at noon. Okay, so you do have a discussion post that's due this week, as well as a journal, and your student survey is due. So a few things. Our discussion post on Thursday is 10 points, and I want to note that unlike last week, there are no plus signs before and after the 10 points here for your responses to colleagues, which means it is a requirement. It is not an optional or bonus assignment this week. When you see those plus signs, it is bonus credit, right? Okay. You also have a participation quiz, which is kind of a misnomer. It means you've participated in everything for the week, right? So you've watched the videos, you have done the work, and you've read the required readings, right? So you have fully participated in the course, and that is reflected in your quiz grade. You have a new assignment this week. It's a journal, and I'll go into a bit more detail about that in just a second. And then you do have a survey that's due on Sunday. Take a little time with it. If you click this link, it will take you to a form with Google Forms. You do not need to log in. The only benefit of logging in if you happen to have a Gmail account is that it can confirm that you've submitted the work. If you don't, sometimes you can be concerned about whether or not the work's submitted. More often than not, it has, and I will work to keep those grades updated throughout the week as some of you have already submitted the work. But when you see a grade, then you know obviously it's been submitted. Okay, stand by. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so you have the response to colleagues after the discussion post, the participation quiz, a journal, and then the survey. So if you scroll down, your weekly video will be here. You do have the option of using the Remind app. This is one of those, it is not a requirement, but it is something that is a resource if you would like to use it. I know some of you would prefer more methods of contact, right? So having the Remind app is just an additional kind of layer of safety. You can reach out to me. It's just like sending a text message, right? I may not respond outside of, regular working hours, but it's there if you need it. But some of you who are parents, or you have jobs where you get lots of alerts or whatever the case may be, you don't want yet another notice coming up on your phone, right? And that is fine. That's why it's optional. But if you want to set that up, there is a link here. All right, the discussion this week is going to be based on Irvin's article, which again, so useful. I love this article. It's going to ask you to consider the myth that you relate to the most, and this will make more sense once you read the work, right? Please, when you start your own thread, use your name. And what I mean by this is, some of you in your introductions, which I'm still working through because there are just so many, but I'm loving them, loving them. When you have, put your name in the subject line, you may below have said, some people call me this, some people call me that. I want to know what you want to be called by me, by folks in the class. So use that in the subject line. Um, so that again, it's about respect, right? We want to name you by your preference, right? So make sure that that's something you consider. And of course, you can also use your pronouns as well. Okay, so that's the discussion post that's due on Thursday. And again, you need to respond to at least 2 colleagues by Sunday, but you're definitely welcome to respond to more if you'd like. Okay. You also have our first food journal assignment. Um, so, we're going to be reading a lot about writing, right? It's a writing course, and we really want to kind of push ourselves to question how we write, how we think about writing. Um, but it just seems yes, we're going to write a bit about our writing, but if we have an overall connecting theme throughout the semester, it makes it, I think, a bit more approachable to take what we've learned about the writing process, about ourselves as writers, and then utilize that in a theme, that we all have kind of an interest in, or we can at least all relate on some level, and that is food. It's a subject that connects people. It's something that gathers people together. It's involved in celebrations. So food is just a really interesting and I think useful kind of overall topic for a course. Um, though I know it can be something that is really interesting and kind of a fun topic overall, it may not be for some. So if you have a complicated history with food for one reason or another that you do not have to share with me, um, but if you struggled, reach out to me and let me know how you're doing. If we need to think about an alternative topic to consider or an alternative way to approach this topic, then let's do that, right? I don't want this to be a source of stress or to reawaken any traumas or anything related to food, or if you're fasting during the semester, um, we can try to do some workarounds, right? This is not meant to, again, cause any kind of undue stress. Writing can already be stressful for us, right? We don't want to add any layers about the topic to this. So, in 2 to 3 paragraphs, I really want us to consider a comfort meal, right? So, oftentimes food is associated with this idea of comfort, coziness, or something that brings back good memories. So, what is a comfort meal to you? Why did you choose this meal? This is open to any kind of interpretation. I've given you an example paragraph below, and it was 100% just based on something that in the moment I was feeling, right? If you ask me tomorrow about a comfort meal, I may talk about, this particular, chicken macaroni soup that I used to have growing up. It was so easy, it was so filling. Um, but again, it doesn't matter. I just want you in 2 to 3 paragraphs with 4 to 5 sentences per paragraph to kind of dig into this idea of a comfort meal. Okay. It's a writing course, y'all, so you got to take some time to revise and edit your work. I'm going to pause to cough for a second. Sorry, the congestion is real. Okay, there are MLA templates here that you can use. Please use them. It's everything is done for you, so why not just download a version of the basic template and utilize that, or you can go to the Google Docs link and copy uh, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, y'all. I feel so flighty with allergy meds. You can have a copy of the MLA template that way. I do want to note that D2L, like most online learning platforms, is picky, annoying. Insert your adjective here. You cannot upload documents directly from something like Google Docs or Canva. So when you go to upload your assignment, if you've used Google Docs, save it to your desktop so that you can easily find it, open it, and go from there. The only other alternative is going to be, as a student, OneDrive, where you can upload directly. So OneDrive, I'm going to go to our main course page. We have our Microsoft 365 widget here, which includes your email, a calendar, and then a link to OneDrive. This is just like Google Docs. It's the exact same idea. You have a ton of storage space as a student, but you can upload directly from OneDrive to D2L without any kinds of issues, okay? But you cannot directly upload from Google Docs, Canva, any of that kind of thing, okay? It's annoying. So when it comes to your journal, make sure you are uploading it in the proper format. If you are using a Mac, or if you're an Apple person, do not upload a Pages document. Please upload documents in these formats, okay? If you have any questions about this kind of stuff, just note that in the content area, there's a whole slew of information on D2L and Tech Help. One of them is, how-to videos for how to do all of these things with Google Docs, etc. Okay, so, we're trying to make the information available, but again, everything can be kind of overwhelming in all these resources, but help is here. All right, if you scroll down, you also have a link to the quiz, which again is everything for our week, everything including the readings, this video, just anything from that week. And then there's a link here to the student survey, as well as a checklist. Remember, this checklist is just for you. If you click this, it doesn't do anything. This doesn't indicate anything. Don't let it fool you, right? This is just a way for you to kind of double check that you've done everything for the week, because I know it can be very overwhelming. Y'all have shared in the discussion, the Q&A discussion board, that things are overwhelming, and that is normal. I don't want you to feel as though you're doing something wrong if you're still feeling a bit overwhelmed. It just takes time. Every class is going to look a little bit different, but the more time you spend in our course just kind of clicking around to the different modules, looking at the way things are structured, the easier it will get. And just keep Thursdays and Sundays in mind. Put those in your written calendar. If you're more of a written calendar person, put those in your electronic calendar just as reminders, because those will always, always be the due dates, okay? Not trying to throw you off or be tricky in any way, shape, or form here. All right, so again, post in that Q&A discussion board if you have any concerns or questions. I love that y'all have taken advantage of that so far. Please continue to do that. Continue to jump in and help one another. I have also truly appreciated that. So know that, everything that you're doing to help each other is not going unnoticed. I really appreciate you all. And just let me know what you need to be successful this week. Hang in there, take care, and good luck.